Fantastic. Oh, my gosh. So nice to be here. As you can tell, I have a little bit of an accent. I made the mistake of moving from Toronto to Tottenham. Google that shit. That's all I have to say. They burnt my entire neighborhood down in a riot last summer. I know. They even burnt my gym down. The riots made me fat. It's very exciting. So exciting to be in England now. I'm an immigrant now. I love saying that in rooms full of, like, white English people. Because a lot of them get really quiet. And then you always get that one person that pipes up, it's like, oh, so, are you staying? I'm like, yes, specifically to take your job. And then I always get challenged because I'm in stand-up. They're like, well, if you were any good at your job, why wouldn't you go to Los Angeles? Let's be real, I'm a little chubby for Los Angeles. I know, I had to come to the UK. I know, you guys let ugly people on TV. I shouldn't say that. We also let ugly people on TV in Canada. We call it a documentary. Lots of fun. Oh, my gosh. Lots of stuff is new to me living in the UK. I didn't know gypsies were real. Lots of stuff is new to me. I didn't know posh. That's new to me. The only thing we know about posh in Canada is a Spice Girl. You go to certain areas in England, and they think... Like, I've been to this one area. I can't remember the name of the area, but everybody in this neighborhood thought they were better than me. Even the pigeons in the park were just like... It's nice to travel around. One of my good friends, a Welsh friend of mine, 22 years old. He told me it wasn't until he was 22 years old that he met his very first black person. Which is fine. The problem that I had is that he likes gangster rap. I had to explain the shit. I'm just like, 50 Cent, he's not our ambassador. You know? It's tough. It's tough listening to a lot of hip-hop because a lot of it I find very negative. I'm like, why does it always have to be so negative, hip-hop? I figured it out. It's because a lot of negative stuff rhymes with black, crack, smack, attack. Even if you're in IT, you just pretend you're a gangster because it's too hard to rhyme shit with computer. Oh, my gosh. So it's a lot of fun traveling around here. Went to the United States. Anybody here ever been to the United States? Woo! You know what? As a Canadian, everybody feels the way that they feel about Americans, but I've actually started to feel really bad for Americans because moving to this country, everybody thinks I am one. And then they treat me like shit. It's interesting when you see how the Americans roll. I went to go and visit my family in Miami. This was my very first time to hear a gunshot. Woo! That was fun. Me and my brother, we just got down on the ground. My cousin looks at us. She's like, what? Y'all ain't got gunshots up in Canada? Like, no. We also have white people in Canada. There were no white people in Miami. It shocked the hell out of me. She's all like, oh, yeah, we got 2 white kids at our school, but I'm nice to them. It's interesting going to the United States because you see Americans on television, you're like, nah, they can't really be that ignorant. But then I went to the United States. My cousin actually asked me, she's like, so, who'd you vote for? McCain or Obama? I'm like, I live in a different country from you. I can't vote in your federal election. She's like, oh, I thought we took y'all over. We're flaky as North Americans, though. Have you guys noticed North Americans? Too flaky. Anytime you have any type of unsavory behavior in North America, it's always classified as a disease or a disorder. And then instead of sorting your life out, you just tell everybody, I suffer. I'm a hoarder. Clean your fucking house. How is this a disease? Oh, my gosh. Do you ever find that there's certain diseases only happen in certain ethnic groups? For example, I could never be a kleptomaniac. Do you know what a black kleptomaniac is? A thief. So yes, it was interesting. The United States has had a lot of fun. So who watched the inauguration of Obama? A couple of people. I was so excited watching the inauguration, except for the parade part. When he was just walking out in the open, I was just like, stay in the car. Do you know what I mean? JFK sat in the car. If I was Obama, I would have a bulletproof hamster ball. Very exciting. You know, a lot of people are very hard on Obama. We forget that Obama has to govern Americans. That's not easy. I saw a guy on CNN protesting free health care with one tooth in his mouth. I'm serious, he's just sitting there. I just don't think it's a good idea. Could you imagine being the president of that? It's not easy. I find Canadians, I feel like such a giant in this country. I feel like Gandalf, you know what I mean? Just like around a bunch of hobbits. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about being a tall woman that will always attract the smallest man. You see him from across the way, you think he might be the right height, but then he gets closer. And closer. And then he always looks at you like he's gonna climb a mountain. He's like, "Argh!" Like, you can't have what you can't reach. That's why the cookies are on the top shelf. Terrible. You know what? One good thing about being a giant, I'm never afraid that anyone's ever gonna drug my drink. Because if they have any foresight at all, how the fuck are they gonna get me home? You have to get creative about that. There's just like a shopping trolley. Yes. So I'm single again. Make some noise if you're in a relationship. Who's in a relationship? Awesome. Who's single? Do you notice that they always sound happier? Every single time. I have a little bit too much personality, so I always have to tone my stuff down, especially if I'm on a first date. It's terrible. Especially if you're on a date with a guy that's really boring, but you know you want to get laid. It's very easy. It's very easy what to do in that situation. Just pretend you're a little bit dumb. Seriously, he's telling you the most boring story you've ever heard in your life. You're just like, oh my God, really? You're so funny. Oh my God! My mind was like, fuck me, please. This is so depressing. I do like the burly guys. I like when guys can do some manly stuff. Sometimes I get the ones that are a little bit too manly. You ever have sex with a guy that sweats too much? She knows. I'm a good sport, though, so I'm laying there. I'm just like... And then I just, like, reach over to the side table and, like, grab a tissue. It's like... He looks down and he's like, will you please stop doing that? It's not sexy. I'm like, it's getting in my eyes. Yes. You probably tell by that accent my ex is Italian. It's interesting when you date outside of your race because you find out that your cultures have things in common that you never thought you had in common. Like I said, my ex is Italian, we're having sex. I'm like, don't touch my hair. He's like, no, don't touch my hair. It's very confusing for me because his hair was everywhere. I'm like, do you want me to touch you in your eyeball? So it's 2012, I'm old, I'm 30 now. Really? It's funny how something as small as a gray pubic hair can make you want to change your life. 30 years old. You know the thing that I'm afraid of when it comes to aging? I have an aunt right now. She's going a bit senile. She believes that the ghosts in the house want to rape her. That's not even the funny part. The funny part is my cousin's reaction. Like, why would the ghosts want to rape you when my fine coochie is sitting in the next room? Yes. Anybody here afraid for the children? I'm afraid for the kids. Have you guys seen how little kids are dressing? It's shocking. I saw a 6-year-old girl wearing high heel shoes. I'm like, what? I can't believe your mother let you out of the house like that. She's like, shut up, I'll make my own money. I think it's the discipline. They don't discipline kids the way that we used to get disciplined. Now you see a lot of fun things. You guys look like you're like a younger generation. Make some noise if you were ever put on a leash or a lead as a child. There's no hope. I don't know how you can put your child on a leash or a lead and expect things to get better. I saw a kid in a harness with a helmet on. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I know this. It's time for a beating. I know you can't say beatings in 2012. People get really sensitive. I'm not talking about knocking out some teeth. I'm talking about a formalized spanking. You know what I mean? I was spanked as a child. That's why I'm not a prostitute today. And it's the toys. You see the toys that we give kids. I remember getting the lamest toys as a kid. I remember getting this one toy. It's like, this is a raccoon on a string. Just pull it. Have you seen the new toys that kids... Have you seen Tickle Me Elmo? Have you seen this toy? This doll will not stop evolving. Do you know that Elmo now has a stand-up comedy routine? Elmo can actually tell your child a story at the end of the night. I wish Elmo would just tell your kids the truth. Which is, your parents do not want to play with you. That is the truth. Beatings don't even work on all the kids in my family. We had to convince my little cousin that the boogeyman is real. You ever do that to a kid under 5 years old? It works. Anytime she starts to act up, her grandmother's just like, Dasani, I'm going to call him. This baby's on the ground, she's like, ah! Then her grandma picks up a cell phone, she's like, boop, 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 boop. Hello? Is the boogeyman there? She's like, you're lucky, Dasani, he's not home right now. You're lucky! It's terrible. Oh, I miss those young days. I miss those young days. I'm at that age where I'm too old for the dance club, but I'm not yet a cougar. Do we have cougars out here? Like, don't give up our location. Oh my gosh, what I wouldn't give to be a cougar, because I feel like the word cougar is so negative. I feel like we need to change the word cougar to hero. Role model, you know what I mean? Because if I'm 50 years old and I'm tapping 25-year-old ass, the only thing I need is a pimp suit. That is the only thing that I need. Do we have broke people out here? Anybody broke? Living in London, that's a new broke. That's the funnest thing to do in London, is sit around with your friends and compare how broke you are. I was so broke at one point, I couldn't even go on a date. I couldn't even go on a date for drinks. I'm like, maybe you want to walk around my block with the cider? He's like, it's 10 a.m. I'm like, I won't judge you. Yes, London. Nothing shocks people in London. Even after the riots, they burnt down my neighborhood. The only thing my cousin had to say was, oh, them burn down the buses. Them burn up the shop. You don't understand what you do when you want milk. Just burn down the police station and call it a day. Nothing shocks. I got on the tube. This guy gets on behind me. He has Doritos all over his breasts. And then he starts talking to somebody that's not there. Then he starts falling asleep. This was the face of everybody on the tube. I thought I was hallucinating. I'm like, can you see him? Sorry, I'm from Canada. We stare. And then you guys get the jumpers. People actually try to kill themselves jumping in front of the tube. Aren't there easier ways to die? If you are that serious about dying, I'll push you. My question is, do you have to do it at 5:30 p.m.? Rush hour traffic. Do you think the world hated you before? All right. Thank you guys very much. I've been Dana Alexander. Take care. Have a good night.